Welcome back. Well, many may not know that now is the prime time to get a head start on all your planting rather than in the spring.
Yeah, it turns out mild weather and warmer soil creates the best conditions for your plants before the winter. So joining us to talk about it, everything we need to know, Shelly Brasher, Madam Wale, thanks for joining us. We have some great tips about winter, what to do. Which plants and shrubs kind of do better in the winter?
Okay, well, in the wintertime, after we've had the first frost, it's always a little tricky because we've had the first freeze, but you can always plant, this is a beautiful sunshine privet, the ligustrum, and it can go in the ground. What you want to do is make sure that you give it plenty of, give it enough room for the root ball and put plenty of mulch and water. So that's an example. In the fall and winter, a lot of times people are really interested in the dramatic color of pansies. They're everyone's favorite. They're just beautiful. And so they can tolerate the cold weather a little bit better, but again, they need to go in and have a good mulch base. We have a little bit of Dusty Miller here that brings a nice contrast. And then of course the ornamental kale is just such an elegant,
beautiful. I love the
beautiful piece.
How pretty that is. It's beautiful. So you're saying after the first freeze, do this?
Well, you can. It's always better to do it before the first freeze, but if you're going to give it some tender, loving care, and you can make sure it's got water, make sure it has mulch. If it's going to have a hard freeze, you might want to throw a towel over it, you know, just kind of keep it a little protected. But you have to baby them at this point.
Yes, there are babies who've got to protect them for sure. What about for fertilizing and watering for this type of year? What's the best practices for that?
Well, typically in fertilizer, again, you also want to put fertilizer on things before the first freeze. But again, what goes along with fertilizer and is so important is making sure that you get your fertilizer and keep it watered. If you don't get enough adequate water to your fertilizer, it will burn your products. And so you have to be very cognizant of that.
What are some plants that you just got to say goodbye to in the winter and not worry about? Because a lot of people are saying, oh, I hope I can hold on to this in my flower bed.
Yeah, well, I guess it just kind of depends on what it's looking like in your flower bed. After the really bad freeze last year, you know, a lot of the ornamental grasses, they just didn't have what it took to live through all of that. So yeah, those are not coming back. I would let those go.
My sweet potato vine lasted longer than it ever has, and just this weekend we were out there cleaning things up. So now it's just like a barren land, you know, where it was. What can we do? What is something, maybe even for some ground cover or something to help me out a little bit?
Especially for like, I don't know what I'm doing, tell me what to do. Thank you very much. What do you think, Nada?
Yeah, I mean, with managed mold, like we service commercial properties, usually what we suggest with our clients is aerate your grass. Just breaking down that soil, allowing that fertilizer and those nutrients to stay in through the dormant winter and allowing for spring to come up. And another thing, if you have irrigation, you want to winterize your irrigation by just blowing out your irrigation, just blowing your lines so that they should not freeze and saving you cost.
I have what might be a dumb question, but when it does get really cold here and you're still watering, even though that water might freeze, is that not a problem as long as it's moving? Kind of explain that dynamic.
It is a little bit of an issue. That's true. So you do want to make sure that your grass has a good drink of water before you put your sprinkler to bed. So, and then after that, it's just, you know, you just kind of have to hold on. But you want to get all of that water down before you close your lines down.
Is there anything to cut back, like literally cut back in your flower bed once we start getting into this first frost? And
yeah, you can always trim back. Of course, you can deadhead. So if the blooms are dead, you just trim those back. Now, fall, typically a little before the first freeze, is a good time for your pruning of your trees, shrubs, crepe myrtles, those types of things. The more sturdier branches.
It's so hard because everything looks so dead in the winter. And you know, you're trying to, you know, keep your mulch good, keep your plants safe and everything. And with Oklahoma weather, it can get crazy out there, right?
It can. That's why these are beautiful to be.
I know, I love it. And can you throw in some mums too, maybe?
Yes. Mums were really kind of big last month. They're not out and around so much anymore, but some of these are going to be good bets for you.
I missed the schedule again.
Thank you guys so much for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, we appreciate it so much.
Thank you so much. Nada and Shelly, we appreciate it. All right.